In 1990, when I was 23 years old, I'd been cycling and climbing around South America for 6 months. I got word from Dan, adventure afoot, come to California. When I got there, he said he was going to put a house on Halfdome. Nope, I didn't understand either, and I'm not even sure this movie helps. When we first started climbing in Yosemite Valley, we had to be evacuated because of a fire. So we went and we climbed on Mount Whitney. There, I obviously bit off a bit more than I could chew, and an 80-foot fall left us with a few broken bones. It took us a couple of days to hike out to hospital, but the problem for us was that it had delayed our adventure on Halfdome. But 6 weeks later, we found ourselves back in the valley, a bit banged up, but we figured we could give Halfdome a try. I'm pretty bad about getting round to edit some of my movies, but this must be a record. I was digging around some old tapes, and here I found this footage that I didn't even know I had, and it was the 30th anniversary of our Halfdome climb. We stayed in Camp 4 as usual, where we met Mark, Dan's good friend and great climbing partner. We also enlisted Tom, who could help me with the hauling. We started out on a route called Tisayak, but a couple days in and hauling the house proved slow going, so we counted our losses and switched over to the regular route. By the first evening, we had climbed a good way off the valley floor and could sit back and enjoy the sunset. Here he comes.
Hi, Mom. Can you get a piece in, Dan? Slow. Easy, Tarzan. Pro.
By the end of the second day, we'd managed to get to the ledge where we wanted to put up the house. The full-size facade of a house that measured 60 foot by 14 foot, that Dan made of metal tubing and material, went out on the rock amazingly smoothly.
Looks great, guys. Thank you.
What are you thinking about now? What are you worried about, if anything?
Food, water, getting off this bloody thing.
How many days do you reckon?
2 days. 2 days out.
And you
Two more nights.
2 more nights.
Pretty wonderful after getting the house out, actually. Everyone was pretty elated. It went smoothly, even though we were running late.
Seeing Dan lean forward like that reminds me where I slept for 2 nights on the ledge. At least seated and with my shoulders jammed in the crack, I wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I've only done 1 or 2 things in my life which I really look back on and will always first sort of stories to tell your grandchildren sort of thing. And one was another climbing project I did with a friend. We managed to raise enough money to build a hospital in Africa. And here I am again making a statement which I really believe in, and combining it with climbing. I've always, whenever I come to Yosemite and looked at Halfdome, I thought, want to get to the top of that guy. Here I am doing the two together. So, and it's been a hell of an adventure for me anyway. I mean, I'm not used to sleeping out on all these ledges in 4 or 5 days, thousands of feet above the ground. I thought it'd be an adventure, and it certainly turned out to be.
So what was this statement of Dan's?
The piece works well for me on a number of levels, which I think is the most interesting thing any work of art can do, is to be able to reach or feed you or give you information ideas on multiple layers. And in that sense, I think this is fairly successful. It had certainly had a political content. It was making a commentary on the commercialization of Yosemite Valley, and in a humorous manner, I think, because it is an absurd idea to put tract housing on Halfdome, yet it's not that far abstracted when you have beauty parlors and whatnot in Yosemite Valley in a national park. On another level, it could be looked at as a performance piece. We spent 5 days on the climb, a lot of effort, sort of the heroic effort, the heroics of the artist and the climber to get up there and to put out this art piece, and then it turns out to be something as banal as a tract house. So the myth of the hero is inflated only to be self-deflated. And then probably the most interesting level for me is the sense of scale. How insignificant and small something as big as a house becomes put against the bigger picture of the landscape.
So you've got that? Heroic myths, environmental statements, and notions of size. The house stayed up for 36 hours before we broke it down and continued on the way to the top. Apart from the amazing views, the last 2 days were really tough. We were all pretty beat up, tired, and by the last day we'd completely run out of water. Not surprisingly, it felt great to get to the top, as well as to complete this wild, wonderful and wacky project.